On occasion, you'll get a horse that will go along for a long time. You have no troubles, and then you get on him one day and he wants to buck and he wants to act up. And we had that happen here recently, and the folks that we were working with, they got really afraid, and they probably should have, because the horse just kind of bowed up and got very fractious all of a sudden. And this is a horse that's never acted that way. So, immediately the person is like, oh, what's wrong with this horse? And I'm like, well, just wait a minute here, because usually when a horse acts up like that, it's in protest of something. So the only way he can communicate with us is through his behavior. So he can't come out and say, Ted, you know what, I don't like this, my back hurts, or you know what, I got a sharp tooth and that hurt when you did that. So he can't come out and say that. So the only way he can communicate with me is through behavior. So the reason I'm bringing this subject up is you have to learn to read your horse. And that day in particular, when that horse acted up for that person, and it wasn't bad, it was just the horse kind of got stiff and bowed up and just acted like he wanted to act up. And so I said, well, let's just think about what was going on. What caused that? Well, I could make a list of 150 things that could cause that. So let's just start out at the top of the list. Well, that particular day was one of those days where a storm front was coming in and the barometric pressure was high, and you could just feel the roof of the barn just thundering, just rumbling. The roof of the barn was rumbling, and the barometric pressure was of sort, you could feel the barn doors swinging back and forth. Well, something's going to happen. The weather's changing. Well, that horse is trying to tell us there's a storm coming, you guys. You guys need to not be riding horses today. There's a storm coming. So, things like barometric pressure. We check the saddle fit. We check for sharp teeth. We check for sore back. We check for sore feet. We check for ulcers. So there's a whole list of things that will cause a horse to protest when you ride him. It's not that he's not broken, it's not that he's bad, he's just trying to communicate with you. So learn to read your horse. And if you go out there and you go to get on him and he acts stiff and rigid and he acts like he's got his hammer cocked and he's ready to buck, he probably's going to. So now, Joyce, I want you to take your camera and watch Nathan out here, how he's preparing his horse. And you work that horse, and like Diana there on the end of your rope, and you see how they're softening their back and their neck and getting him prepared to ride relaxed, okay? So they're relaxing that horse before they ride him. Now these are all horses that are in schooling, and you don't have to do this every time you ride, but this is what you need to go through to obtain harmony and softness and suppleness in your horse, rather than just climbing up on him like some cowbilly and riding him around for 20 minutes and putting him up, okay? So if you want to know why our horses are as good as they are, this is the time and the patience that it takes to accomplish this. So with all that said, I'm just saying, learn to read your horse, take the time and the patience that it takes to get him supple and relaxed, and if you take my advice, you'll have a treasure.